So today we're coming back to something that we did, well, we're trying to remember. I think it was about 3 months ago when we still had stuff growing in the garden. We took some Stevia, I think I said that right? Stevia cuttings from our Stevia plants outside. And they've been under our grow lights, pretty neglected for the last little bit. But we're going to repot some of these. You can see a lot of them, they're actually growing pretty well. We're going to repot these, and for some of the bigger ones our plan is to use this pot. Probably we can get 6 or so in there, kind of figure. Now, before we pot them, because we have cats, we're going to make a little cage to go around this to sort of keep the cats from digging in it. Alright, so here's my little setup. Got our little ring of wire to give it some extra height to keep the cats out, or that's the plan. And then the baiting on top, we'll see if we can get away without it, because that would be kind of nice. I think we can. But and then I just went out and got a little piece of Manitoba maple branch, put that in, wired it to the little cage so that I can put a clamp on there to put our grow light on. Well, there they are. What do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 7 of them in there, kind of the 7 best ones. Most of them had a pretty good root on them, which is not bad for little cutting clones. Plan is keep these guys growing through the winter, and probably end of February, beginning of March, we'll take another round of cuttings, hopefully, and see if we can get some going kind of a little bit later in the spring for replanting outside, because once it gets outside, this stuff grows like mad. We've used a lot of it this year as sort of dried sweetener for teas and coffee and that sort of thing, but I'm sure there's a lot more applications we could use for it. But if we can keep it going, then that's great. So we also had these little guys, these little 7 cuttings left over basically. I don't think we're not going to put them in a big pot like the first 7, but we are going to repot them into some kind of container. I haven't figured that out yet, and give them some more root space, and put them back on our grow shelf. On that note, I'm going to move this pot to where it's supposed to go and get the grow light set up. Well, here's sort of the spot we're going to leave this pot. We're hoping it's quite elevated, but we're hoping the height helps with the cats, or deters the cats. Somebody's checking it out. There's kind of the plan for the clamp lamp. I do have some bigger reflectors, but I think we're going to try this one for now and see how it goes. And it's not ideal, and we do have a window here, so they will get some light. You see our blueberry bed, or one of our blueberry beds that we actually got done at the window here. It's not ideal, but yeah, it'll probably work. We're not trying to get production, we're just trying to keep the plants growing and hopefully get some clones. Alright, so did a little bit of thinking and looking in our stash of pots, and I've made a decision. We're going to repot these 6. Unfortunately, this little guy we're going to feed to our worms, because I don't think it's going to, it just doesn't look like it's doing as well as the others. But these guys, when we get them repotted, get them a bit bigger space, see if they're a little happier, and keep them under our grow lights. So what we're going to do is basically just upsize them to bigger square pots in this little container. We like these. I think they're from the dollar store, just because then you put your pots in and you can basically water from the bottom, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to repot these guys. There's the 6 planted. The 7th one actually hadn't rooted at all, so I don't feel as bad. These ones, except for that one in the middle, all had quite a good amount of root on them, but not as much as the ones that got planted in the big tote, or the big bucket. So anyways, put them back on the shelf and see what they do in the next little bit. This is the light I got. I picked up a couple of these the other day, and I've used them in the past, and they don't work too badly, so we're going to give it a shot. I don't know a lot about the lighting stuff, but the more you look into it, the crazier you can go, and this was a simple option. So we'll get it in there and show you what it looks like. Oh, and we do have it on a timer. I should make a note of that too, because we we are notorious for, if we don't have it on a timer, we probably would forget about it, even though this is in a busier part of the house. So there they are. Gonna play around with this a little bit, see if I can get it to stay centered a little bit better. But these little guys over here seem a little shaded. But we'll see how this works. I might end up having to switch to a larger clamp lamp because I don't know if that's going to give enough coverage for the whole pot. And we'll see. We might end up getting some tinfoil or something around the outside to just kind of keep the light in a bit better, because I know we're losing a bunch. But at least the basic setup's there. I'm going to water these guys, and yeah, they should be happy with it, I imagine. One thing we did find with last year, when we moved, we dug up some of our stevia plants, brought them with us, and we definitely found that, yeah, without the grow light, they didn't do very great in the house. We had them in front of a window and it just didn't really work. So far, these little cuttings have been under a grow lamp since we brought them in the house, and I think they just didn't grow more than they have because they were kind of root bound, but this should help. So stay tuned, we might come back to this, see how they do after a while, and we may end up putting some reflective paper or tinfoil or something around them in the end. But for now, this is what they're getting. So hopefully we can keep them going until spring. Anyways, that's kind of it for this little video on repotting our stevia cuttings.